my name is Tony Donan. I am principal of STEM School Chattanooga, and today we want to offer you the opportunity to learn a little bit more about PBL. Some people think about PBL as project-based learning or problem-based learning, but really it's a strategy to help engage students. When we think about PBL, we often talk about why you want to do it, right? And the rationale is PBL allows you to access content, right? Content learning with the kids, but also focus on process skills that are important for the 21st century. So think of your 4 C's, right? You think critical thinking, collaboration, those sorts of pieces are important for kids to be able to learn and show evidence of learning and do in the practices that they do every day in the classroom. So PBL is a strategy that combines that content and process. Now most folks want to just dive right in, but we're going to get you started with some baby steps. So the first thing we're going to do is focus on something called SOLE. S-O-L-E, a self-organized learning environment. The biggest thing to be successful in a PBL is to set up the classroom environment in such a way that it engages students. So today you're going to learn a lot about SOLE. That's going to be a one classroom setup to allow teachers to really understand how to set the environment so that PBL ultimately can be successful. And to do that, I'm going to give you a SOLE and PBL expert. Today you're going to see Shannon Siegel. She's a science teacher at STEM School Chattanooga and former state science teacher of the year. So you're going to have somebody excellent to help you out to get you started today. Turn it over to Shannon.
All right, thanks Dr. Donan. Again, my name's Shannon Siegel and I'm a science teacher at STEM School Chattanooga. So SOLE, or Self-Organized Learning Environment, is all about student-centered learning. And the thing with SOLE is your ability to set the classroom up so students are engaged with the content but also with each other. So the best reference to go to online for SOLE is startsole.org. It has all the different things that we'll talk about today. It has lesson plan templates. It has big questions. So it's a great resource. And you can also download the app, the Start SOLE app. So the first step of designing a SOLE is to know kind of what the structure looks like. So the structure in the classroom is you're going to have present a big question to students. And that question presentation and getting the students engaged in their thinking takes about 5 minutes out of a lesson plan. So this SOLE will be done in one class period. The second part is around 30 to 45 minutes where you give kids time to collaborate, you give them time to research, you give them time to answer questions. Or find the answer to the big question. And the last thing is kind of showing what they've learned. It could be a celebration of learning, it could be class discussion. That can take a variety of forms, and usually that takes about anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes, depending on your class size. So there is a basic structure to a SOLE so that it can be completed within a class period. So think of a SOLE as like a mini PBL, so that you can kind of start thinking about what a bigger PBL might look like for your students. So the first step is creating a big question. This to me is the hardest step because it has to be an un-Googleable question. A lot of our kids will put questions in the computer and they will pick up on the first thing that pings on Google. But un-Googleable questions make it a lot more difficult. So forming that question is quite a task as an educator. There are questions in the startsole.org website, but be careful. Some of those are Googleable questions which can be answered with a simple search, and you want to avoid that at all costs. So the quality of your question and the fact that it cannot just be Googled or put in and an answer spit out of the internet is of the utmost importance. So the second step then is you're going to give the kids time to research. And this is a really cool thing because not only are they going to research with their groups, but these students can go and get information from other groups. So it is encouraged that they do cross collaboration or cross critical thinking with other groups where they can kind of go look at the ideas another group had, or they can go ask a question of another group. But it always ends in the original group coming together. So again, critical thinking, collaboration, and they're also going to innovate because they have to figure out how they are going to display their thoughts and findings that are the answer to this big question or un-Googleable question. And so kind of thinking on those terms, the final thing could be them making a song. It could be them diagramming in any way that they see fit the answer to their problem with poster paper. It could be them creating a digital poster. It could be them giving a skit. So I would say that would be based on what you want as an educator, but also based on maybe the students in your classroom. And that could vary how you want them to relay the information they found to the rest of their classmates. And that could vary again based on the students that sit in front of you. So the activity involved for this could be two different versions. Teachers could participate in a small SOL or self-organized learning environment activity where they act as students. And I would suggest that first so they can know what it feels like to go through one of these. And then teachers would be given time to actually plan a SOL to use with their students.